What's going on, folks? So today I want to talk about, I guess it's a kind of a combination of things, like a customer's responsibility, buying lower end or budget optics, mounts, stuff like that. So what inspired this video was I watched a video from another YouTuber. I don't even remember the name. I'm not going to put him on blast. He bought a budget optic mount combo from a company that sells those products. He went on to state that the optic has been awesome. He has no problems with the optic, but the mount is crap and he's not buying their optics anymore. That's what he had said. And people had, commented in the comments, like, bro, you just said the optic was solid. You have a problem with the mount. Why do you say you're not going to buy from this company again or whatever? And it's his right to buy whatever he wants or not buy whatever he wants. But a lot of people pointed out, and I agree. It took me a while to find the comment, but as the video is unfolding and I'm watching it, he was complaining about the screw heads stripping out. I think there were stars or Allen wrenches. And he had to end up drilling them out, cutting them off to get them off, to get the optic / mount off the gun. Not the ring part. And it was a one solid piece angled mount with an LPVO on it. And I was thinking to myself, bro, you over-torqued that stuff. Now, we know that a lot of the budget friendly optics mounts will come with screws that are subpar. I mean, I think we're all kind of aware of that. The aluminum, in my opinion, aluminum's aluminum. I mean, there are different grades of aluminum, but it didn't look like the mount or the claw part on it. It looked like the two screws. Now, it was 4 screws, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Looked like the 2 screws in the rear had failed. 2 screws in the front came off. Somebody said in the comments, bro, you over-torqued them. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I think customers, especially YouTube reviewers and stuff, have an obligation to follow the manufacturer's instructions, especially when it comes to torque specs. Boy, those cheap screws do not like to be over-torqued. I'm sure when they put it in the specs, when they say 30 inch-pounds or foot-pounds or whatever they say it, they mean that. That's probably right below the extreme level of what they can handle in their shear off because they use cheap screws. Now, if you can, my suggestion would be if you're going to buy a budget optic mount thing for your rifle, plan on replacing the screws. Now, I know that's dumb because it should come with screws that work. However, again, I would recommend you get yourself a torque wrench and you torque it to manufacturer's specs. I mean, I did it with my Accuracy International in 6.5, borrowed a buddy's torque wrench, torqued it to factory spec. It's got an AI scope mount on it, and a very expensive one. Can those probably take over torquing? Absolutely. But if you follow the manufacturer's specs and those screws you still can't get off and they fail, that's bum on them. But I guarantee the vast majority, to include myself, I'm guilty of this, we don't torque to spec. You just put a red dot on. I'm not going to sit there and torque a red dot mount on, and some of them are flip mounts and it doesn't need that. But in this case, I would almost bet that they didn't follow the torque specs for that mount. So that when you came back to take it off, you hollowed out the either star, I think it was probably Allen wrench, inside, and then you were forced to drill them out and break the screws off. And apparently he had a rough time taking the screws off, which means the screws were probably not that bad as far as the threads go and stuff like that. So that's, I think as customers, because people will just say, oh, this is bullcrap. A lot of people will, and we talk about budget items and wallet friendly items, cheap items. I think a lot of people buy it hoping that it'll be better than it is, and they found a diamond in the rough type of thing. And in this case, it's hard to say whether it was a failure. I would look at it and say, I did look at it, watched the video, and I said, is this a failure on the product? Or does the customer / YouTuber reviewer in this case have some responsibility with that? Especially if you didn't follow manufacturer's specifications. It's hard to say, again, in this case, I think it was probably over torqued. Can't prove that, but can you really fault in this case, the LPVO mount if you torque the shit out of it and then it strips off and fails? Did you, in the case of Allen wrenches, there's a bunch of different Allen wrenches, and I've noticed, I'll get some, you put it in there and there's a little bit of play. Now, if you're getting a little bit of play, you are more likely to strip that bitch round and then you're screwed. So you want to make sure that you have a hard time pushing that Allen wrench in, especially with like Chinese optics. They got some kind of different, I don't know if they're using metric or Chinese, whatever some of the lower end budget Chinese optics that are made, a lot of them will come with a wrench though too. That fits perfectly. So sometimes if you lose that wrench, you got to go to your big pile, which I got a big box full of all these things I've collected over the years. And you stick it in there and it goes in, and then you got a little bit of wiggle before you start cranking. Don't do it. Just wait till you find one that fits, because you'll be sucking hind tit if you fuck your shit up. So there it is, guys. Let me know. Does the customer bear some responsibility to this type of stuff? Do I think they do. I think you have to make sure that you follow the manufacturer specs. And for cases like this, which most of look, I'm guilty of this shit. I don't even take the instruction manual out. I just grab the gun or rifle or mount or whatever, figure it out, put it on. A lot of guys are like that and roll with it. And then you go back and you go, oh shit, I was only supposed to torque this, get a torque wrench, to 30 inch-pounds or whatever. And then you get it one and you take it off and it takes 70 to take it off. So you more than doubled what's required to put it, and you're crushing stuff and stressing threads on screws and mounts. And so there it is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.